Hello, happy Friday. Welcome back, or Monday, Friday. Duh, what is going on? Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. Coming to you, obviously, on a Monday. We're going to be breaking down week number 14 of the National Football League so far. As we got two games on tonight, I really don't understand the NFL's decision to have both of those games on at exactly the same time. But that's neither here nor there. I'm David Huffman there with my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We're bringing you guys consistent content almost every single day, bringing you guys all the latest information. And happy Monday, TJ. How's life? What's up, man?
It's Monday.
Well, it is Monday. That's right. It is Monday. And yeah, we got Bears continuing to push towards the Super Bowl as they win another game. They're going to go to the Super Bowl, TJ. I know I may have said that before, but it's happening.
Yeah. First winning streak under Eberflus, and all of a sudden we're going to the Super Bowl.
We are going to the Super Bowl, TJ. Let's get right into it without wasting any time. Let's talk about Thursday night football. We saw the New England Patriots beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-18. They're now 3-10, and I have saw some crazy stuff that if they get to 7-10, a lot of other things shake out. They can make it to the playoffs, eventually go to the Super Bowl. But yeah, somehow I doubt that. Bailey Zappi was really good in this game. 3 touchdowns to that 1 interception. Ezekiel Elliott kind of looked like old Ezekiel Elliott in this game. 68 yards, kept rushing. He also had a receiving touchdown. Hunter Henry had 2 touchdowns on his birthday, so happy belated birthday to Hunter Henry. On the other side, Mr. Trubisky, kind of the same kind of stuff we saw when he was in Chicago. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had a rushing touchdown, and Deontay Johnson also caught a receiving touchdown in this game. But it was in garbage time when this game was basically over.
That touchdown wasn't in garbage time. Did you watch the game?
Yeah, they would have had to have gotten the 2-point conversion to get that.
No, I'm talking about when Deontay Johnson.
I might have him flipped with the Mitchell Trubisky touchdown. I apologize.
That touchdown was not in. That touchdown pass was not in garbage time. Come on, man. But yeah, it was. It was Zappy hour. It was Zappy hour. It was.
It was Zappy hour. Best game offensively the Patriots have played this season. Not quite actually, but
no, it's pretty close. They don't. Let's be honest. They don't have many games to pick from where they played great in, right?
It's true. I mean, they did beat the Bills 29-25 in an absolute offensive outburst for the New England Patriots.
And neither touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers came in garbage time. The one where Deontay Johnson came right before half, 2 minutes, 2:50 before the half, and Trubisky's came at 11:44 in the fourth, make it 21-18.
Yeah,
Obviously, so obviously it's I think the issue with the Steelers outside of play calling itself, because you fire Matt Canada, so like now um you had an in season change. Their red zone play calling was atrocious that game. What was it? Fourth? It was like a fourth and goal or fourth and whatever in the red zone, and you try to do a pitch, like you do a little pitch to Najee Harris where he has to like beat five dudes to get to the first down. It's a numbers aspect. It's just like, no, that's not gonna happen. And you have George Pickens just wide open in the end zone. But I think that was a like a realization after the fact. Like Najee Harris already had the ball, and then all of a sudden there's Pickens wide open in the end zone, and there was nothing that could be done.
and then the real head scratching call was that 4th and 2. They're basically the final possession that the Steelers had in this game. 4th and 2. You throw a 30-yard bomb down the field when you only need to pick up 2 yards. The play calling for most, I don't understand that play calling at all.
Like again, folks want to kill Trubisky for the throw, like for making that throw. They don't want to kill the coaching staff for calling a 30-yard bomb. Like you didn't need 30.
It was a really low possession play for basically the game. Like it didn't make any sense at all.
So it's like, oh, why would he throw that? No, why would they call that? Right, that's the part that kills me. It's like you want to criticize the player for a decision, which is fine, but also you have to criticize the coaching for putting him in that decision. Right? Like again, it's 4th and 2. 4th and 2. His favorite target is
Whatever your favorite two point conversion play is, just run that. You need to pick up 2 yards to continue the game. Why you don't need to score a touchdown on that play.
That's all you needed was 2. All you needed was 2 yards, and yeah, he's like, no, f that. I'm going for the home run. I'm finna be the hero. Da 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 da. It was nice to kind of see Deontay Johnson make amends for that, for his attitude lately, especially in Cincinnati, to not diving for the fumble and then lying about why he didn't think it was a fumble. Like, oh, I was blocking that. Like, dude, no, you weren't. We literally saw you like not do anything. On the New England side, again, like I know, like these guys on bad teams, yeah, they're bad, but at the same time, they still want to win. And this was case in point. Like, yo, we want to win. Like, yeah,
they don't care about the draft pick for next season.
No, because like in their mindset, and rightly so. Like, if you're
you probably drafted whoever's going to replace me. Why would I?
Yeah, you drafted a replacement. Like you drafted somebody's replacement. So why the hell wouldn't I? Like, try to ball out as hard as possible. On the New England side, yeah, we had the Juju side, 4 for 90. Like you said, Hunter Henry, 2 touchdowns on his birthday. Beautiful passes and catches, by the way. Like especially that second one. That was a dive. Obviously, like the bigger question for New England is, all right, you're likely gonna have a
top 5, top 3 pick.
A top 3 pick. Drake May was the first quarterback to declare today, so that was the first QB domino to fall. We're still waiting on quite a few others. It's pretty evident that Mac Jones' time is, would you say, all but over? Yeah. So next week, I don't know who they play. Do you go back to Bailey? Do you go back to Bailey Zappi? Or
you continue putting the best. But they play the Chiefs next week. I imagine again they will probably lose.
So I don't think it matters who plays quarterback that game. Okay, that's
true. You're getting an angry Kansas City Chiefs team. in
Mm.
Foxborough. But moving on from there, let's swing into Sunday afternoon football. First game in the NFC South. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Mercedes-Benz Dome and beating the Atlanta Falcons 29-25. Baker Mayfield threw 2 touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown in this game. Rashad White and Kate Otten both had receiving touchdowns for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pretty quiet game from Mike Evans, 1 catch for 8 yards, as he was targeted 6 times, but only had that 1 catch. Rashad White also had a fumble. 2 of them none of them he lost. Sorry. Desmond Ridder on the other side, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had a rushing touchdown. Bijan Robinson also had a rushing touchdown in this game. And we had a Kyle Pitts sighting in this game as he had 3 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. And Drake London had 10 for 171. Desmond Ridder also had 2 fumbles. None of them he lost, actually. Nobody lost a single fumble that they had in this game, which is very strange. But yeah, Atlanta had a real opportunity to take a stranglehold on the division. They failed to do so.
Yeah, it's funny how, the team you picked, well, like, they all have the same record, right? They're like a game between each other. Yeah, they all have the same record.
They all have exactly the same record.
They're 6-7. Your pick is 6-7. My pick is 6.
All of them, but the Panthers, obviously.
But yeah, we're not talking about them yet. The Bijan Robinson touchdown. Tampa Bay only had 9 dudes on the field, so I hope you scored. Like, yeah, they did the thing. It's like, they only had 9 dudes on the field. Like, how does that happen?
How do you not notice that? And how do you not call it?
That's literally one guy. That's literally like one of the responsibilities of one of the guys on defense to be like the count to make sure that there's enough guys on the field or there's too many guys on the field, and so on and so forth. And yeah, like you said, like, how do you not notice that? 26 of 40 for Desmond Ridder, 347 yards. 338 for the game because he got sacked 3 times, and the sacks don't go up against they don't take away individual passing stats. They take away from
team passing yards.
So yeah, 347, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The lone interception touchdown pass was to Kyle Pitts, who does not have enough on the season. Kyle Pitts he's just not used right.
Nobody in this offense in Atlanta is used right.
Bro, that was his second touchdown catch of the season. Like, Kyle Pitts has 44 catches for 549 yards.
Literally the quietest 44 catches I can ever remember. Like,
and 2 touchdowns.
Baker Mayfield wasn't even really all that good in this game. I mean, completion percentage under 50%. 144 yards. I mean, this is like Rashad White also had 100 yards rushing in this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a team, had 148 as a team.
They averaged 4 yards a carry to the Falcons, who only averaged 3.7 and was 4 yards short of 100 yards. So for them, it was pretty much like, hey, once we get the lead again, we just gonna run this thing out, and hey, if you're getting 4 again, as a team, you want 4 yards a carry. Right, that eats up a lot of time. That eats up a lot of yards, and it makes it that much easier for everybody. Like 4 yards again, 4 yards a carry. 1st and 10. 1st and 10 becomes 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6 becomes 32. 32 first down. Chains keep moving. Clock keep moving. Eventually,
and Tampa Bay was able to go down the field, score the game-winning touchdown with relatively little time left, 30 seconds left in the game. Kate Otten caught the touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield. This South Division is just, it is what it is. A bad football team is going to win this division.
But to be fair, we expected it to be. I won't say we expected it to be bad, but I'm not going to sit here and say we expected 3 teams to be 6-7 with 3 weeks to go. And real talk, the only team we expected that we knew for a fact that was going to be bad was Carolina. What's going on in Carolina shouldn't surprise anyone, but we did not to an extent. Did I expect them to be 1-12? No, did I
Maybe.
expect them?
I think I had them winning 2 games. So this is not a good football
I
team.
think real time. I think I gave them what 3, maybe
Yeah.
4 wins, and I was being nice with that. And you even called me out. You like, yo, you are being very generous.
It's fair.
And
I was right. The one time I get something right. How about that? Let's just move on. Moving into the NFC North, the Chicago Bears continue their path to the Super Bowl as they beat the Detroit Lions 28-13 in a game that was not close at any point during this game. I guess at halftime it was 13-10 Lions, but the Bears came out in the second half and just basically put a shellacking on the Detroit Lions. Never looked back. 28-13. Jared Goff, another one of these games where he just kind of shoots himself in the foot kind of a lot in this game. One touchdown to 2 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs had a touchdown on the ground. Josh Reynolds had 1 touchdown in this game. And we kept Amon-Ra St. Brown pretty quiet in this game. 3 catches for 21. Yeah, and Sam Laporta, 2 for 23 for him. On the Bears side of this, Justin Fields continues. This has been 4 games in a row of strong quarterback play from Justin Fields. 19 of 33, 223 yards, a touchdown. He also had 1 on the ground. DJ Moore also had a rushing touchdown in this game, and he also had that 4th down conversion touchdown in the waiting in the second. I think it was in the third quarter. We had it was 4th down. He had the free play, got the touchdown to DJ Moore. Jalen Johnson also forced the fumble, but DJ Edwards recovered. This was obviously an extremely strong performance for the Chicago Bears as they basically won this game. Looked good while doing it.
yeah, first off, I think Jared Goff is just like the Chicago Bears are his like quote unquote kryptonite, his house of horrors, his whatever bad analogy you want. That's what they are. Like his career, he's thrown 13 touchdowns to 10 interceptions against the Chicago Bears. Like they, for whatever reason, they just have his number. All right, even dating back to his time with the Rams, they just have his number. Like he struggles against this team. I don't get it. It's just one of those things, right? Like that's just what it is. Looking back, like looking at this game and how they won this game, it makes the first loss that much more frustrating because this game you showed what you can do when you pay attention. Like the fact that you were down 13 at halftime, and you saw you saw defensively what they were doing to Justin Fields. And you saw what they were doing offensively because like once they got that motion going, they started going sideline to sideline and getting their playmakers the ball in all different sorts of kind of ways. You went into halftime, you made the necessary adjustments, and you came out and you executed those adjustments, and you won this game. And you made a very high-powered Detroit Lions offense look like it didn't know what day of the week it was. And once again, that makes every loss you had that much more frustrating.
Yeah, the only game where they scored less points than this in a game is the game against the Ravens in Baltimore, earlier this season. So like they've just been straight up putting up big points, and this is a complete Bears team effort here. This is one of those, another stepping stone towards the Super Bowl. TJ.
The one thing I will say is the issue like offensively, right? Again, like we saw it in the first half. Like when the first 2 drives when that led to points, you got a touchdown on the first one, then you got a field goal on the next one, and then after that, it was tough to watch. You had one big chunk play to Cole Kmet, and then after that, offense completely sputtered. That's where Luke Getsy tends to struggle. It's like when we get off script, when it's like, all right, the first, what would you say, 30 plays of the game, all right, those are gone now. Now what? Like now what are you gonna do? Right?
I think it's probably the first 15 plays or so that they're completely scripted for most NFL teams. And yeah, he seems to struggle with play calling when we get out of. He seems to fall back into like bad old ways with those wide receiver screens and stuff like that.
So here's the thing, right? The first half, Like when you decided to go for it on 4th and 1, and it was like that was a very bad 4th and 1 spot that they put the Bears in, because I think Fields was a little closer than where they marked the ball at, but it's whatever. And your 4th and 1 call is a pitch to DJ Moore, who's 4 yards behind the line of game, and you once again put him in a situation where he has to break 3 or 4 tackles to get anything, and they stuffed it, and then they go down, and then they get the ball right around midfield. They march down, and they take the lead, and it looked like all the momentum was just gone for the Bears. Like the Detroit Lions, they were rolling at that point. They get the touchdown, they come out, they shut the Bears down again, and then lucky for us, we just took it in the halftime down 13-10. Right? That was the saving grace. But it was like it's moments like that where it's like, dude, like it's 4th and 1, and you call a pitch to the side where he's like the defenders outnumber the blockers.
And when you have one of the most athletic quarterbacks in football, like why wouldn't you keep the ball in his hands?
Like again, like we saw that against Denver, 4th and 1, you take the ball out of his hands, and it's just like, yo, what are you doing? Also, the first half, DJ Moore had 0 targets. Big problem with that. Because like, how do you not get your best receiver in the passing game early? Like, how do you not do that?
I didn't even realize that DJ Moore even had 1,000 yards. It just seems like he's not used that much this season. Maybe that's
just you. That is 100% just you.
Like it doesn't feel like he's been a 1,000-yard receiver. Like when I saw his, I'm like, God damn, DJ Moore's got a shitload of yards this year. Like,
76 catches, 1,071 yards.
He's pushing like the Brandon Marshall record. He's probably gonna break that this season.
I think they say he averages like 84 yards a game. Something like that. Something along
Well, I mean, his stats are a little inflated because of that 200-yard game that he had earlier this season.
But that's just one. You act like he's getting 200 yards. No, don't do that. His stats are inflated because of one 200-yard game that happened 12 weeks ago. Like, no,
that's true. Moving on from there, let's swing into the AFC. Cincinnati Bengals and Jake Browning continued this kind of Cinderella story as they beat the Indianapolis Colts 34-14. Gardner Minshew was just okay in this game. He threw a touchdown. He threw a pick. Zach Moss, they really missed Jonathan Taylor, kind of stabilizing this running attack. 13 for 28. Michael Pittman continues a strong third season there in Indianapolis, 8 for 95. And on the Cincinnati side, Jake Browning, 2 touchdowns, that 1 interception. He also had a rushing touchdown. So did Joe Mixon. And then your boy, Chase Brown, also had a 54-yard screen hot play that he took to the house for the Cincinnati Bengals. Beautiful play call, beautiful play design, beautiful execution. Bengals win this game by 20. Just put a stomping on the Colts as they did not score in the second half of this game.
Yeah, like they scored all their points in the second quarter, and that's when it was like, oh, they actually tied the game up in the second quarter. And they got a pick six, and then they got the 2-point conversion to tie it. And it's like, yeah, we got a game. And then it's like, yeah, no, you don't. No. They got ugly fast, very fast. Hey, I thought the Bengals was just having the worst luck at quarterback play, because I got that notification that Jake Browning hurt AJ McCarron now in at quarterback for the Bengals. I'm like, yo, that's when I sent that message to the group chat. I'm like, yo, they have some of the worst luck at quarterback, not knowing that Jake Browning eventually came back into the game. Right, so whatever the injury was, it must not have been that severe for him to be kept out. But yeah, like you said, it's this is when it's games like this where Gardner Minshew, like it proves why Jacksonville was like, you know what, you're nice, you're good, but you're not that guy to take us where we need to go. Like Gardner Minshew is a damn good quarterback. Gardner Minshew could probably play for all 32 teams in the league.
I mean, he's an elite level backup. That's for damn sure.
Right, but that's what he is. That's what he is. He's an elite level back. He's probably the best backup in the league. But when
Not
you
named not named Jake Browning.
not come on, man. Not right, not named Jake Browning, but again, this is start number 2 for Jake Browning, and you kind of saw it, right? Like he didn't do what he did against Jacksonville. He didn't go for 350. He had 275.
I mean, he didn't necessarily need to. They were up by 20 points.
Yeah, but at the same time, hey, that just goes to show you how smart NFL dudes are because it's like, hey, you got game tape on him from one game, one, and it's just like, all right, we can take it. We can knock that out. We can knock that out. Nah. Yeah, you're not doing that. You're not doing that this game. No, it's not happening. My issue with Cincinnati offensively, again, I understand you got Joe Mixon. I understand he's the bell cow. But at the same time, you don't want to run him into the ground. Get Chase Brown more carries.
Maybe they do want to run him into the ground.
Get Chase
you don't know what they're into over there in Jackson in Cincinnati.
But like seriously, so he had 21 carries to Chase Brown's 8. I would like 5 of those carries to be taken away from Joe Mixon and given to Chase Brown, just to just to see. So let's decide. Let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just say we're in a multiverse timeline where the Cincinnati Bengals, you know what, Joe Mixon, thank you for your services. We're going to go forward with the younger guy.
I thought they were going to do that this offseason for real. Like I thought that was going to be a thing, and then it just never was.
Okay, so in this situation, they do, right? And then all of a sudden, you decide to do that, but then Chase Brown isn't used to the workload at the NFL level, and he kind of that's because you didn't prep him for it. Like
I mean, they're not worried about the future. They're worried about right now, and they don't care. They don't care.
They're kind of worried about the future, but the other aspect of it, right? Like a future without.
I mean, they don't care. Like the future without Joe Mixon is not something they can.
No,
they're not sweating over. They're not sweating it.
The future without Joe Burrow is what they're definitely
100%.
So
swinging off from this game, we're going to talk about another NFC South and NFC North teams going head to head, or AFC, sorry. Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, as Cleveland wins this game 31-27. Jacksonville tried to mount a heroic comeback, scoring 13 points in the fourth quarter, but could not convert the 2-point conversion, and then did not get the onside kick. Cleveland Browns end up winning this game at home. Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I cannot believe he played in this game. I thought for sure he'd be on the shelf for at least a week. Travis Etienne had a touchdown. Evan Ingram had 2 touchdowns. And Parker Washington, back-to-back games with a touchdown for him. As he's emerged as, Christian Kirk is out, he's kind of become that wide receiver 2 now with Calvin Ridley. And then the other side, Cleveland, Joe Flacco, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Kareem Hunt also had a rushing touchdown. David Njoku, big game for him, 2 touchdowns. And David Bell had the other touchdown for the Cleveland Browns as they win this game 31-27.
Yeah, dusted off Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco told me to shut the F up about stuff I don't know about. Remember, because I told Joe Flacco, I retired Joe Flacco.
Well, Joe Flacco must have missed that memo, so.
I retired Joe Flacco. I told Joe Flacco, hey, man, thank you for your services. You may not be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but you're definitely going to be in the conversation. You got that Super Bowl. You got a bag. There's nothing more for you to do. Like, especially, this is also him coming off what was a bad season with the Jets, where it was him, it was Zach Wilson, then it was Mike White, then it was him again, then it was Mike White again, and it was Zach Wilson again, and it was just like, you know what, dude, yeah, go sit down, go enjoy time with the kids, all that, and the wife, all the good stuff. And Joe Flacco said, I don't know you. Why are you giving me life advice? I'm gonna play till I can't play no more. And the Cleveland Browns have, dusted them off 26 of 45, 311 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's just like, yeah, TJ, eat that. And I am. I can admit when I'm wrong. Jacksonville, like the Detroit Lions, and I'm mad I missed this point when we talked about that game. They can't keep affording these slow starts. You just can't do it in this league. Teams are just like even if you get out to a slow start against a bad team, they'll like you either good enough to dig your way out, kind of like what Detroit did the first time they played the Bears, but eventually it catches up to you. Like at the blink of an eye, before you know it, you're down 21-7 to the Cleveland Browns, who dusted off Joe Flacco 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like that's not so. Like you said, like when you finally make a game out of it, it's 31-27. You need an onside kick, and me and David both share the same sentiment. If you need an onside kick in today's NFL, games games virtually over. Like it's like the odds are not in your favor to recover that onside kick.
Yeah, and I also like I don't understand the decision to go for two when they scored that. I mean, I guess you got to be thinking like if we get this onside kick, we're playing with house money anyways. That like even if we have a chance to win the game, but if you have it like I don't understand like why teams keep going for two when they're down like 14 points. Yeah, when they're down 14 points, they go for two in the first touchdown because like it is a really head scratching stuff. I don't get it and. It is what it is. Let's just move on from this game. Let's talk about the NFC South as the New Orleans Saints put a pounding on the Carolina Panthers, 28-6. Bryce Young's stat line in this game, not good to say the least. 13 for 36, passing for 137 yards. Chuba Hubbard had 87 yards rushing. Miles Sanders finally showed up for a game this season. He had 74 yards rushing himself. Adam Thielen had 74 yards receiving. Derek Carr, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Alvin Kamara had a touchdown. Chris Olave had a touchdown. Jimmy Graham had a touchdown as the Saints beat down Carolina 28-6. And I'm not sure how much more needs to be said.
No, I just want to give a shout out to Panther fans who thought they were going to be good this year. They were there. David, again, you're not on Twitter like I am. They was on the Bird app talking big garbage. They was on the Bird app talking, oh my God. If I was smart at the time, I would have screenshotted everything and sent it to y'all to be like, yo, this is what's going on in Pantherland. This is how they talking. They talking real big with their chest out, thinking like, oh, the only top pick y'all gonna have is yours. Like, I'm like
yeah, that is not,
that's
that for sure is not worked out yet. Izzy, welcome to the show.
That was me crunching a water bottle to signify how what the Panthers went through. Like it was at first it was full, and all of a sudden it just crumbled down very fast. And that's what
Panthers been talking real. The Panther fans fan base been talking real.
Izzy, talk to them.
They've been talking real saucy since they got Bryce Young. They thought Bryce Young was going to be the savior, and they thought Bryce Young was going to be the next type of franchise quarterback like Cam Newton was, and they're starting to see that it takes more than just a franchise talent at quarterback to be successful.
They was talking,
and the thing is the reason why I said it before the draft. 5'11" quarterbacks don't really pan out because you need a lot to go in for them. You need a hell of an offensive line. They're vulnerable to getting injured. I mean, I think the last guy that was 5'11" and under that had some success was Doug Flutie, and he's a journeyman quarterback. Russ
5'11".
Russ, I forgot Russ, but Russ is thick though.
That's what I'm saying. Like Russ stocky as hell. Like
Russ is thick. And the reason why Cam Newton was able to survive because he's 6'6", 6'5", and he's a tank.
Yeah,
with no offensive line. So, Tampa fans just chop it up. I mean, just continue to develop your quarterback. And that's all that needs to be said because there's nothing less to be said about this game. We already knew the foregone conclusion about this game.
Yeah, moving on from this game, let's talk about the Houston Texans going into MetLife Stadium and losing 30-6. As Zach Wilson maybe having one of his best games as a pro after being benched for 2 games. He returns 27-36, 300 yards and a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Gibson had the lone rushing touchdown for the New York Jets. And Breece Hall and Randall Cobb had a touchdown for the New York Jets. On the Houston Texans side of this, C.J. Stroud did suffer a concussion during this game and left. I think it was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
He wasn't particularly good before he got hurt, anyways. But I'm not sure it would have impacted the outcome of this game. But 10 of 23 for C.J. Stroud, 91 yards. Davis Mills came in. He threw 5 passes, only completed 1 of them. Devin Singletary, 13 for 65 and a touchdown. Brevin Jordan filling in for Bobby Schultz's cousin Dalton Schultz, 3 catches for 35 yards for Brevin Jordan as the Jets put a beat down on the Texans, 30-6.
Disappointed in Zach Wilson. I wanted him to stick to his guns. I wanted him to stick like, nah, y'all wanted, what was his name? Y'all wanted
Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle, keep playing Tim Boyle. Disappointed in Zach Wilson, but like, no, that was big on him. That was big on the entire organization because they had to go back to him, hat in hand.
I mean, they always have to go back to Zach Wilson. If I was every time they bench Zach Wilson all the time, and then like last season with the Mike White fiasco and all the other stuff, like they always pull Zach Wilson, then they're forced to go back to him every single. Like it seems like every other week.
Like this one kind of felt different though. Like I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Like, but like this one, I don't know why. But like this one felt like at least when Mike White showed that he could actually play.
Yeah.
Right, like he showed that he could actually play. Tim Boyle, like you said, David, didn't even show that he was good in college. Right, like he threw like 1 touchdown pass in college.
Well, when he was at whatever he was that Mac school, wherever he was, yeah, he threw 2 to 1, like 1 to 2 touchdowns to pick.
So it's like so for them to be like, hey, yeah, we were wrong. We shouldn't have benched you for Tim Boyle. Can you please go play this game, like please? And we saw the Zach Wilson that got drafted 2nd overall. Like we saw the Zach Wilson that went viral for the what's that shit called? The pro day. You saw pro day Zach Wilson. He's making throws like that and all that other stuff. And yeah, it was on the Texan side. I saw that hit that CJ Stroud took. Well, it wasn't even a hit. It wasn't a hit itself. It was the recoil. Like he got tackled.
Yeah. He hit the ground. And,
That's what always gets him is the recoil on. When they hit the head on the ground.
That's what that was. So
that was a dominant performance, though, TJ, by that defense. I mean, really, man. I mean, that defense.
Oh yeah. If you the Jets, like you suit up for this game. Like first off, you take pride in everything. You take pride in every game, right? Because you're the reason that folks even talk about you outside of the quarterback fiasco. But you have this young dude in CJ Stroud who is he could win MVP. Like, no, all right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, those MVP conversations have gotten real quiet.
Well, they should never been had. And one thing that you like, you see that hurt them is like not having his number 1 threat in Tank Dell, Noah Brown not being.
Nico Collins got injured during this game.
Nico Collins got injured. There's no Dalton Schultz. They're working with a backup tight end, so you're long overdue. What I was surprised at was how poorly the Houston Texans defense played. They've been okay pretty much all season. And today, I mean not today, but yesterday against Zach Wilson was able to move the football. Breece Hall was able to run the football however he wanted to. He was able to get chunk yardage in the screen game. And the Jets just had a really good game plan for that Texans defense. They really negated Will Anderson and company, and it was a really good performance. I appreciate a team that gets behind their quarterback, and they really should get behind a guy like Zach Wilson. I mean, he gets a lot of hate, but really, what have they done to really put around Zach Wilson to be successful? Right.
Well, I mean, they've tried it.
They've tried, and their offensive linemen have been hurt year after year after year. And so it's a tough ask for a guy to come in and when he has the mindset, okay, I'm going to be a backup behind Aaron Rodgers, then all of a sudden he's thrust into the starting role again. When
Because every
really he's
piece you
not
put, and every piece that you brought in this offseason was catered towards
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So
moving on from this game, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens escaping from the Los Angeles Rams as they take a punt to the house and win this game 37-31 in walk-off fashion. Matthew Stafford threw 3 touchdowns in this game. Kyron Williams went over the century mark. Cooper Kupp went over the century mark. He also had a touchdown. So did Davis Allen and Demarcus Robinson. On the Baltimore side, Lamar Jackson was also cooking in this game. 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. He also had 70 yards on the ground. OBJ had nearly 100 yards receiving. Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, all had receiving touchdowns. And Dylan Wallace, 76-yard field goal return to the house.
House call, baby.
House call, yeah.
Yeah, David. Hey, TJ. David was the one. You were the one that told me nobody's watching this game. We don't got red zone. I was watching this game, and Isaiah Likely and OBJ caught touchdown passes in the first half where there was like not a Ram within 20 yards of
in sight.
Like, bro.
Hey, you want to know what makes it worse?
Is going on with that defense?
You want to know what makes it worse? You want to know what makes it worse? The Odell touchdown. He ran the wrong route.
And he was still open by like 30 yards. That is like something like they're gonna go into the film room and they about to kill those DBs on that one. Bust coverage. And then also I saw something after the game. I mean, they literally, man, those Ravens, they were like literally double teaming and triple teaming Aaron Donald all game. It was fun. It was so fun to watch. It was like, wow, I can't believe one man is getting all this attention. But man, this is a very entertaining game, man. Puka Nacua,
the best game, probably the best game of the day. I
mean, both of them, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, both had good games, great games, and it's kind of actually encouraging to see. This is how the Rams' offense is going to look. Now, Tutu Atwell, he took a lick on the sideline. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he got knocked out the game. He took one of them Ronnie Lott hits on the sideline. So I'm hopefully he's okay. I think he's in concussion. He was out the game for a concussion. But this was a very entertaining game. It was raining. It was like perfect football weather. It was just an up and down game. It was very entertaining, and I mean, I very encouraging to see that the Ravens were able to pull a game out like this in the end. So, but also I want to say this though, in the end, that last drive, Matthew Stafford's got to do. I mean, you're driving. Matthew Stafford and the Rams have to do a better job at trying to punch that in and not just settling for the 3 yard, 3-point field goal to take it into OT. You had a chance to get it in. You had 4 tries. I think they were at like the 15-yard line or something. He almost threw a pick. The first play, to try and get it into the end zone where he tried to throw it in a double coverage and Cooper Kupp was there. That almost got picked by Humphrey. So this is a hell of a game, and I just think that the Rams have something cooking. Especially, I don't know if they make the playoffs this year, but next year I think they'll be okay.
They were on the 18-yard line, they with 3 timeouts. They could have easily have tried harder to get into the end zone. TJ.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Absolutely.
Izzy's like, I've never seen one guy get this much attention. Shit, you better give Aaron Donald all that attention.
He's getting triple teamed. There was one picture I saw him getting triple teamed, man. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Moving on from this game, we got the first game in the late afternoon window, and we got the Minnesota Vikings going into Las Vegas and winning the game 3-0, and they didn't score until there was like 2 minutes left on the game clock. So they went. They these two teams combined for 60 times plus 60, so like 118 minutes of scoreless football to finally kick the game-winning field goal with under 2 minutes left in the game. Joshua Dobbs, who has been a nice story for this season, got benched. Nick Mullins came in and led the game-winning drive. I'm not even going to bother to read the stats out in this one.
No,
Josh
Jefferson got knocked out the game with a chest injury. I hope he's back.
Justin Jefferson got knocked out pretty early. Josh Jacobs got injured pretty early. Actually, he got injured in the fourth quarter, but he was not effective when he was healthy anyways. Just a bad day for football.
When it comes to fantasy purposes, I know guys are so pissed right now because Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs just got hurt right before the playoff time. So,
yeah, I'm one of those people. I started Josh Jacobs over Heath Mostert.
Fantasy.
Yeah. And I'm not sure anything else needs to even be said about this game.
No,
I think that's the only takeaway. Fantasy.
No. What you call it? Yeah. Again, this is one of those back to the Bears Vikings Monday night game, right? If you're a old school smash mouth slobber knocker fan of football, you love this game. You like, hey, 3-0. It was hitting. It was this. It was that. Like, no. This game was terrible. God awful, and it just goes to coaching on both fronts. Kevin O'Connell, this is your first game coming off a bye, yes?
How the hell do you only get 3 points?
This is your first game coming off a bye week, right? Am I wrong? Am I right or wrong?
I think so. Yeah.
No, you right.
First game coming off a bye, and you scored 3 points.
I said the same thing.
You won the turnover battle 3-0. You only get 3 points.
And you scored 3 points. You said that you were gonna do everything to Kate. You said that everything was on the table with the quarterback, but you also said that you would do a better job of catering the quarterback position to Josh Dobbs and what he needs. And again, you're coming off a bye, and it looks like you didn't do any of that because you benched him for Nick Mullins, who ended up going down with the game-winning drive and so on and so forth. Raiders side, we already know what the situation is. Aiden O'Connell, nice college QB, real good college QB. That's it. It's obvious. Jimmy G ain't the guy. Whoever you had after him ain't the guy. And Aiden O'Connell is not the guy. The only thing I want y'all to do is, one, take the interim off of Antonio Pierce because the team looks like they gravitate towards him. Decide what you're going to do with Devontae Adams because he can still fetch a nice price. I don't know what your draft position is, but you're probably not. You probably want to try to get as close to the top 10 if you're not in the top 10 already. Okay, so you might want to try to get as close to the top 5 as possible, and try to get one of these young quarterbacks, unless you want to wait until the second round to get like a Jaden Daniels or somebody like that, and figure out this quarterback situation because it's terrible, it's god awful.
Moving on from this game, moving into the NFC West. We got the Seattle Seahawks and Drew Lock falling to San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. Drew Lock was okay in this game. 2 touchdowns. He also threw 2 interceptions. Zach Charbonnet, lead rusher for this team. Kenneth Walker III came back, but was mostly ineffective in this game. Tyler Lockett, leading receiver, with 89 yards. And DK Metcalf had another touchdown. That's 4 in 2 games. Colby Parkinson was very open on his touchdown from Drew Lock. And then Brock Purdy, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jordan Mason, Deebo Samuel had rushing touchdowns, and Deebo Samuel also had a receiving touchdown where no one was even remotely close to him, as Brock Purdy had 5,000 years to throw that football on that touchdown. George Kittle also.
I think anybody could play in that system and be good, David.
Yeah, maybe. But Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel both went over the century mark.
It's a difference between playing that system and looking good and playing in that system and looking good and winning. Like, we saw CJ Beathard look really good in the 49ers system, but they didn't win much. Right? The Colby Parkinson touchdown, David, he was wide open because that's the 49ers play. They ran the same play that the Niners ran on them last year. But they faked
Yeah, it was
And Brock
real. It
Purdy.
was real open.
I really want to talk about DK Metcalf's outburst. He needs to really start controlling his emotions. Greg Olson said he said something that was true. Like anytime the game doesn't go his way, he just does not know how to control his emotions, and he's gonna hurt his team one day. By having one of these outbursts where the league may suspend him or whatever the case is. But I thought what he needs to stop crying like a baby. It's pretty much stop crying like a baby. You got beat by Charvarius Ward locked you up the first game, and then you scored an early touchdown this game, and then nothing else went your way the rest of this game. So I need a DK Metcalf to start acting like a professional athlete, professional football player, and
So
stop
here's
letting
the
emotions get.
here's
I,
the
I also,
issue.
I also, I also think that San Francisco showed we're the best team in the NFC during just not with this game, but their body of work so far this season. They beat down Dallas. They beat down the Philadelphia Eagles. Like they have just manhandled most of the teams that they played this season.
Here's the issue I have with that last statement is he needs to act like a professional athlete and not a baby. We act like these outbursts are every week. They're not. So
They're
they're
not
not.
every week, but they all the time. They happen whenever the game doesn't go his way.
That's not true.
They happen every time.
That's not true.
He's gotten into so many outbursts, so many scenes
That's
this year.
not true. That is not true. That's not true. He's acted more quote unquote professional than he has acted like a quote unquote baby. That's not true. Come on, man. Let's be real about it. Because it's like the game against Dallas. That didn't go like why? Because he didn't have an outburst because he had a good game, but they still lost. No, no. That's we're not gonna do that. This game right here. This was just San Fran saying like you said, David. Yo, you're good. Like we're better than y'all. We're better than y'all. Like Seattle hung in as long as they could, right? They hung in as long as they could. It was. I'm pulling it up. I was just at. It was 21-16. It was 21-16 going into the fourth. That's one possession. That's a touchdown. You take the lead, and then all of a sudden, San Fran's just like, you know what? Hey, we just gotta score one more time and stop them one time. Game over. 28-16. This was just San Fran saying like, hey, you don't have enough horses. That's it.
And most people don't have enough horses.
And most people don't like, bro. First play of the game was McCaffrey got 72 yards on the first play of the game. What are you gonna do about that?
Moving on to what was the probably the game of the weekend or one of the games of the weekend. We got the Buffalo Bills narrowly escaping the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, 20-17. Josh Allen, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. James Cook was really effective when they did use him. 58 yards rushing, 1 touchdown for Josh Allen on the ground. James Cook also had a wheel route that he took for a touchdown as well in this game. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes, another one of those games where he's kind of just been kind of a little bit up and down. 1 touchdown, 1 interception for his stat line. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got the started running back with Isaiah Pacheco being sidelined with an injury. I don't remember what the injury was. Maybe a thigh injury?
It was a shoulder injury.
Shoulder, thank you. 11-39, Jerick McKinnon had the lone rushing touchdown. Rasheed Rice had the lone receiving touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs, as Travis Kelce led the team in receiving yards. But all anybody's talking about today is the outburst for Patrick Mahomes and the offsides fall and Kadarius Toney. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes get like that on the sideline ever.
That's a boil over. That's a boil over from last week against the Packers.
I think.
Because the call was right. They got the call right, but it's still one of those tic-tac calls.
This is the thing, though, David. The call was right, but he did it multiple times in the game, and they didn't give him a warning. They didn't call offensive offsides on him at all. I literally I was watching ESPN today, and I saw Dan Orlovsky break it down, and he literally was on that. He was offsides like 5 or 6 different times, and they called it on one time that they scored a touchdown. They call that call, and he was offsides like 6 times throughout the whole game. They didn't give him a warning. They didn't do anything. So who's wrong and who's right here? Yes, he was offsides, but also it's the ref's responsibility to let Kadarius Toney know, hey,
No, it's
you're
not.
outside, buddy. You need to back up a little bit.
No, it's not. It's not.
It
It's
is.
actually
It is, though.
it's actually up to the wide receiver to make sure that
thank you.
No,
It's
the
up to
wide receiver does need to check in with the ref.
But
you don't call it. You didn't call it 5 times throughout the whole game.
He like when they looked to the ref and they threw their little thumbs up. Kadarius Toney was not doing that. He didn't do it on that play.
He didn't. Okay, that's my point. He didn't do it all game. Right, that's his fault. Right, that's his fault.
Exactly.
But
so why are you
blaming
the refs?
It's there. At the same time,
No,
they
it's
didn't call it at all game long. They called it on the one time that they scored a touchdown. They didn't call it all game long. If that's the case, you call it 6 different times. You call it 6 different times. You call offensive offsides 6 different times. That's why Pat Mahomes is pissed. That's why Kansas City is pissed.
I'm not with you on that. It's not the ref's fault. It's not the ref's responsibility to go like, hey man, you lining up both sides, back up. Like, no, that's not their responsibility. Just like with what's the one right tackle, every time he
this is what you do
on every play.
Hey,
do they tell that right tackle like, hey man, you going a little early every play?
But they did the same thing in that game. I mean, they don't call that offsides for an entire game, and then when the game's on the line, you blow the whistle. Yeah, I just think it was one of those. I know they had on NBC, they had whatever their head of officiating guy was come in and explain that that's been a point of emphasis for the NFL. That offsides call has a lot to do with that push play actually, because you have a lot of players that are lined up offsides during those plays.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a big win for the Buffalo Bills. This is a game they had to have to keep their season alive and their playoff hopes alive. Because we're talking about Buffalo Bills, who would lose all the tiebreakers to all of the other teams that are 7-6 right now. The only way they can get into the playoffs is if they have a better record than those teams. This is a big win for Buffalo.
Yeah, playoff hopes. I think the unsung hero in this was actually we had a Von Miller sighting. That was nice.
Yeah,
especially with all that he's going on. They talked about him too. Is he like why he's not on the what's that thing called?
The commissioner exempt list.
Yeah, and it's mostly because like
he hasn't been formally charged with anything yet.
They don't have all that. They don't want to rush to a decision and come to find out that this situation. I'm not trying to downplay the severity of it at all. I'm just trying to say like the NFL is probably not ready to make a ruling on it because they don't have everything that they need to make said ruling. But Leonard Floyd was the one who kind of, especially that last drive, right? Like after the penalty, Leonard Floyd was the one who was in Pat Mahomes' face to make that last throw just a little bit harder and all that other good stuff. Good point, David, in the group chat, they gave Pat Mahomes too much time. Yeah, that irked my soul. That irked every fiber in my being because you saw what he did with 13 seconds. What do you think he's gonna do if you gave him a full?
You basically give him 2 minutes because you throw 2 incompletions that don't even get you to the 2-minute warning, and then you throw a terrible pass to Dalton Kincaid that stopped the clock and went to the 2-minute warning. I'm like, Kansas City's gonna win this game. And, the one time Buffalo's defense actually showed up in a game.
Like, thank God, right? Thank God they got to stop, right? Like, thank God. Like, I'm like, I'm like, they had 2 timeouts left. All you gotta do is just run the ball, make them use their timeouts, just make sure the runs are for positive yardage, kill the clock that way, and then kick the field goal with 10 seconds left. Versus,
well, they wouldn't have been able to get it down to 10. So yeah, Kansas City didn't have any timeouts left, so they could have gotten it down. So they run the ball on the next play after the first down. They could have ran the ball there, and then they would have probably been pretty close to 10 seconds. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, so
yeah, obviously the only thing everyone's talking about is the offsides call and. You can hate it all you want. It's the right call. It's not the ref's job to be like, hey, you're offside. You're like, no. Hey, receiver, check with the ref like you're supposed to do, and then they'll tell you if you're offsides or not. It's not just, I'm just going to line up and then the ref's going to tell me I'm offsides. It's not their job.
Yeah, but when you're doing it all game and they don't tell you anything.
And then it's not their job.
And they call it the one time that y'all score a touchdown or on the final drive. that's a bit finicky right there.
It's not
That
the
is a bit finicky. That's like, oh, we can call holding call on this left tackle, 3/4 of the game, but he gonna hold in this last 2 minutes on a big play and prevent a sack. We not gonna call it. You know what I mean?
Moving on from this game, we got the last game in the late afternoon window. We got the Denver Broncos putting an end to the Los Angeles Chargers season as they beat them 24-7. Russell Wilson, 21 of 33, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Justin Herbert did get banged up in this game, did not return. Easton Stick came to this game, did not play particularly well. Javonte Williams got a touchdown. Colton Sutton had a touchdown. Adam Troutman was stupid wide open for his touchdown. And then on the Chargers side, this officially puts the death nail on their season. Austin Eckler did have a rushing touchdown, but this season is over for the Chargers. And now we just play the waiting game for when Brandon Staley gets fired.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else needs to be said about this game. So.
No,
that Adam Troutman touchdown was fire though. That was a hell of a play call.
I just don't like some of the criticism that Justin Herbert gets from the media pundits. So like you got like a LaShawn McCoy who says Justin Herbert gives me nothing but good hair.
He does have good hair.
And he does. I'm not taking that away from him, but how is it Justin Herbert's fault that he hits a wide open Quentin Johnston for what would be go ahead touchdowns or big plays, and Quentin Johnston drops him? How is that how is that Justin Herbert's fault?
Hamburger hands.
Like how is it his fault that his defense lets up a 28-point lead against the Jacksonville Jaguars? I understand he gets the ball back, but at the same time, you're up 28 points. Defense, just get one stop. Just stop them one time, we win. Well, this just goes into the notion of, and I hate this stereotype, but it's just not working out in their favor. That young quarterbacks, the Mac Joneses, the Justin Fields, the Justin Herberts, that they need offensive-minded head coaches. I hate that stereotype. This just feeds into it. The only young quarterback with a defensive-minded head coach is C.J. Stroud, and we see what the Texans are doing. So, like, you got one good example versus a bunch of negative ones, and it just doesn't help. They're talking about surgery now for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and he's got a hand injury.
So it's week 14, like you said. David, season's over. You might as well just, get the surgery, shut it down. We will include you on the next head coaching decision because that's what's going to happen. $250 million shit. I better have a say.
Yep, 100%. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, one of the highly anticipated matchups of the year was really just a beatdown by the Dallas Cowboys as they win this game 33-13. And even though they won by 20 points, this game was never that close.
At all.
Like Dallas felt like they were up by 80 points. Like they felt like they put up a 70 steamer on the Philadelphia Eagles. As this Eagles offense never got going. 18-27, 197 yards, a touchdown, no touchdowns, no interceptions. DeAndre Swift 11 for 39. They had not scored an offensive touchdown in this game, Philadelphia. And I think maybe things could have been different if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble that ball in the opening drive as they were driving towards potentially points there. But you lose the football. Dallas defense takes advantage of it. Dak Prescott continues what could be an MVP candidate campaign for him. 2 touchdowns for him.
Oh, they had 3 turnovers, right? Devontae Smith had a big fumble too.
Yeah,
I think
AJ Brown had a fumble. Devontae Smith had a fumble. Jalen Hurts all had fumbles.
Their big three all fumbled.
And CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup all had receiving touchdowns.
Devontae Smith had a fumble. They were just approaching the red zone. They were only down 2 scores? I think it was like 12 points.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts' fumble was in the red zone.
He fumbled the snap. He
was rushing for it, and then I think.
And does that take us to the point of last week?
Stephon Gilmore, maybe Malik Hooker, one of those guys hit it out of there.
Hey, the Dallas Cowboys play well at home, but does that go back to our point of should Jalen Hurts have played in this game? What was that concussion protocol looking like last week? for
Okay, I was curious.
for the medical
I was
staff.
curious as to what direction you were going with that. So, during the broadcast, what's his name? Ty Collinsworth is like, "Oh no, man, the Eagles look kind of tired." No, I'm not trying to hear that. I don't want to hear the Eagles look tired. You want to know why? Because if they were winning all these games, you know what we wouldn't be hearing? The Eagles look tired. So yeah, no, keep the same energy. They lost. They got their ass kicked.
They got their ass kicked, but the crazy thing is, because of the way
Twice.
the schedule shakes out, Philadelphia Eagles are still in control of their own destiny. As long as they win out, they'll be the number 1 seed in the NFC, or at least they'll win their division.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to go to Dallas and play.
No,
in
I
Dallas.
don't. Nobody wants to go to Dallas and play a football game there.
No.
Except for the Packers.
Yeah,
No, it ain't no stop it. With a kryptonite, son.
But this continues to be an impressive performance by Dak Prescott this season. Turned it around big time for what he was dealing with last year, all the interceptions, all the turnovers. I don't know. I mean, they just beat down in Philadelphia. Like, I don't know what else to say. They're 7-0. They're 7-0 at home.
MVP, right? Should it be Dak Prescott?
Yes.
Yes. I think it should. I think it should. I think
Like,
it should.
I think if Tyreek Hill breaks a record when it comes to receiving
if Tyreek Hill, gets 2,000 yards,
I think he should be the MVP.
The problem with that is that he may not have a chance to do it because they blow teams out so fast and so early that they leave him out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I think. Yeah, I think he should be. If he breaks that record, he should be the MVP. If he doesn't break that record, I think Dak Prescott's the MVP.
Like the whole Brock Purdy loses his argument when you look at those 3 games that they lost. He didn't have Trent Williams, he didn't have Debo, and McCaffrey was banged up, and they averaged 17 points a game. That's not MVP.
Because he's got a full deck of cards over there in San Francisco, full deck.
Yeah, it's the same argument that you used to hurt, other players in other sports when you have a stacked lineup like that. But yeah, Dallas wins this game. Not much else needs to really be said. We got 2 games on tonight. Both of them happening right now. I still don't understand the NFL's decision to play these games at the same time. Why wouldn't you stagger them just a little bit? But Packers, Giants. I already know who Izzy's taking. TJ, who you got?
I don't think it matters, man.
I'm going to Giants. Tommy DeVito's going to Tommy DeVito. Yeah.
You better stop it.
If the Bears are going to go to the Super Bowl, the Packers got to lose.
You know what? I will say this about that Giants game. I think Saquon Barkley's going to have a really good game.
It's
You guys are
definitely.
going to get DeVito'd.
We're not going to get Tommy DeVito. If anything, it's going to be that that defense is going to show up and Saquon Barkley's going to have himself a hell of a game because he always has a really good game against Packers, always. So,
but yeah, we're all 3 of us
taking.
All 3 of us are taking the Miami Dolphins. So.
Come on, man.
We'll be back here tomorrow. We're going to break down those 2 games. We're also going to make our picks for week number 15. You don't want to miss that content. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
Go, Pack, go.
The 76ers are beating the Washington Wizards 75-46 at halftime.
That is. I just looked at that. I was like, man, I was thinking about placing a bet on that, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. They not even. The Sixers gonna take away.
Okay, hey, real talk. Hey, who? NBA question: who ends their losing streak first, the Pistons or the Spurs?
Spurs.
The Spurs ended tonight, baby. Let's go.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all take it easy. Have a good night. Peace out, guys.